Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, Transformation Talk Radio, and any other station that you're listening through. It's great to have you here. I am so thrilled about having a conversation with, a long-term friend and colleague joining me here today. David Essel is my very special guest, but here's the deal. What is it about some of us that said, you know what, I'm just not going to do it that way. I'm just not going to do it that way. I need to be a little bit more authentic to myself and who I am. And that's what I love about David and his latest book, because, whether you know him from somebody that's in the health and fitness industry, whether you know him as Mr. Motivation or a number one life coach, television, radio, all of the above, here's what he does. He knows clearly that this is the time for people to get their hands on some tool, some idea that we are so clear about is new, a new narrative, and is a little bit like, what do I want to say? Yeah, breaking some of the old rules we think we knew about living an amazing life. Today, positive thinking will never change your life, but this book will. The Myth of Positive Thinking. I love this because here's what we've said too. I don't know if positive thinking changed my life. I think that there are some other things along the way, but that's just me. David, it's great to have you here.
Oh, Pat, I have been so excited. My publicist, TJ, was flipping out when we found out we were going to be on your show because you and I are one, honey. We are just in such great alignment. And this whole thing about positive thinking and what you said about being authentic, one of the reasons I wrote the book is because I realized that for a number of years, from 1980 until 1996, I had been a parrot. P-A-R-R-O-T.
Yeah.
I was one of those many sheep led to slaughter by well-meaning people telling us that whatever you believe you can achieve and your thoughts become millions of dollars, and imagine checks in the mail and they're coming. Oh, my gosh. Dr. Pat, if we think about the reality of life, which is why we wrote the book, all of those well-meaning statements are cute, but unless there's a miracle, in all the years of doing this work, I have never seen someone think their way to millions, think their way to 100-pound weight loss, think their way into a quote-unquote amazing relationship. And if any of that stuff happens, well, we call it a miracle. But I'm excited to be on your show because you and I have that same level of authenticity.
Yeah.
And when we know we've made a mistake, and I made a mistake, I'm apologizing for the mistake I made with my new book because we're saying, you know what, it's time to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. And, let's take a minute here to talk about what that actually means. For me, I will tell you what it means. It means that when I stepped out, David, and I really love what you're about to talk about here. When I stepped out 14 years ago and had a life-changing event, a mystery disease, 6 months after I started the radio show, what I realized that positive thinking, even though I've interviewed all the people you've mentioned in your book, positive thinking alone did not get me well. but it's not like it did nothing. So give me like the scale of where positive thinking fits in.
Oh, I know. Well, even as I write this book, Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, I am one of the most positive people in the freaking world.
Me too.
And I love it. And I'm going to give you the formula, the reality of where positive thinking fits in for someone who wants to lose the weight, make the money, find the love, create the new business, get closer to God or their spiritual power. Positive thinking will account for only 20% of our success in life, unless it's a miracle. Now, if it's a miracle, positive thinking can be 100%.
Yeah.
But miracles don't happen all that often when it comes to big stuff. So we say to people, and in the book we say, take the most important hour of every day is the first hour we are awake to us in our work of 37 years. When people commit the first hour to meditation, visualization, journaling, prayer, gratitude, etc., like that sets the template of the day. But that's only 20%.
Yeah.
So then you got to figure out that the reality of the book says, and it's proven through all the interviews that we've done, is that 80% of someone's massive success in life will have nothing to do with their thoughts. Nothing.
Yeah. So when people hear this, and I think everyone that's listening gets it because they've heard different times, me say it, talk about it, or share examples of it.
Yeah.
And, my mom used to tell me, she used to say almost the exact formula that you're talking about. She used to say something like, with her Southern accent, honey, I'm just going to tell you, inspiration 20%, but perspiration's the rest. And I'd be like, Mom, what the heck are you talking about? But you're laughing, David, right? Because what? You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
I sure do. Your mom was brilliant.
Yeah, she was. She was. But look, you're breaking this down in a way that says to folks, we're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater here. There's something else to be said, and there's something else for you to know. When you write this book, and now you're out talking about it, where is the place that you go to explain to somebody that says, listen, I am down and out, I am hitting my bottom. And that's a term that we hear in the recovery population. I have hit my bottom. Yeah, I am down there crawling around down there with the worms, David. Help me, son. Help me.
Well, now, this is interesting that you say that. My mentor, Joe Cerulli, who I wrote about in the book, I met Joe in 1986. He was homeless. He became a multi-trillionaire in an industry that people say, Pat, that you can't make money, which is the health club industry. And I had him write in the book. And when he got this email I sent out to 11 people who are extremely successful, 6 of them were New York Times bestselling authors, I sent an email out right when I was about ready to sit down and write the book. And I said, hey, I am so sick and tired of this well-meaning, what you think about, you bring about, and thoughts become things. It's very cute, but it isn't realistic. And it's not solving problems of 70% of Americans being overweight. It's not solving the problems of the credit card crunch and debt. It's not solving a damn thing. So I'm going to write a book. And within 24 hours, Dr. Pat, 6 New York Times bestselling authors had replied saying, oh, my God, thank you for someone taking the stance. And they're all in the book. But to answer your question about I'm down and out, Joe Cerulli, the homeless guy that becomes a multi-millionaire, said that in the beginning, when he was scraping himself up off the bottom of the pavement to try to make it in life, he would be filled with doubt, anxiety, insecurity. I've been homeless for this amount of time. Am I really going to be able to be successful? And this is what he writes in the book. My success came by sitting in my insecurity and anxiety for hours at a time. I stopped running from those feelings, and they would process and pass through. And here's the beautiful note. After sitting in my insecurities and doubt and anxiety for a number of hours, I would stand up, and all of a sudden, an answer would come that I need to go take these serious action steps to move my life forward. And Pat, what a lot of people say is when you're in that place, think positive thoughts, think of puppy dog tails and daffodils. And what Joe is saying is no. Throw that out the window. Deal with the negativity, quote unquote, the anxiety, the nervousness. And when you deal with it, you will process it. And so that's just like a story to answer your question. What do you do when you're down and out?
Yeah.
You go into the teeth of the tiger. You don't run away.
Yeah. You know what? I love this because it reminds me of a book that I read, I don't know, decades ago. And I never forgot the book. And it was, for me, a game changer. And it was called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It wasn't called Fear the Fear and Smile. It was called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I remember that book like it was yesterday because I had never heard that. I had never heard that except my mom saying, the inspiration, perspiration thing. This idea, though, that you just mentioned, I want to take a short break. And when we come back, I want to dig real deeply into what that means. Because for folks listening, sometimes they hear what you say and I say, and they believe it means, now let me create a drama story that I'm going to stick to. I'm sticking to it, and that's it. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Transformation Talk Radio is dedicated to the education and awareness of Lyme disease.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lyme Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Pat, joined here by
Dr. Nusheen Darvish.
Dr. Pat Basili and Dr. Nusheen Darvish will be bringing the most innovative, groundbreaking information, research, treatment innovations, and stories from those it affects every day.
I'm so excited to be talking about this.
We have so much to share.
Dr. Darvish and I are planning to do is connect the dots.
People suffering with all sorts of chronic diseases, it's time. It is time for them to transform.
Tune into Lyme Talk Radio and help keep our mission strong.
For the loyal listeners out there that have been listening to this incredible show on Lyme disease, we are not going to let you down. We're going to come through stronger and enrich the platform for Lyme disease awareness through Lyme Talk Radio. The message will continue, the conversations will become stronger, and the healing epic. Treat the body and expand the soul on June 1st with Lynn Brown. Imagine 3 days in a hand-built log home nestled in the Cascade Mountain. Activate the collaboration between the body and spirit and allow the accelerated connection as one of the most powerful ways to light up your cells, honor the body's needs in this all-inclusive event. Visit lynnmbrown.com or call 206-931-7356.
Introducing the Lucid Planet, a digital gathering place featuring cutting-edge, high-vibrational content that will empower and inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. Visit the Lucid Planet today to stimulate your mind, body, and soul as you connect with a global community of like-minded people. The Lucid Planet is edited by renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly Neff, who is here to help you cope with anxiety, connect to your higher purpose, uncover your true passions, and live your dreams. Dr. Kelly's fresh, compassionate perspective emphasizes growth, transformation, healing, and thriving, even in the face of adversity. Say goodbye to bad news and low vibrational media for good and become part of the larger collective of people working together to navigate the global shift of consciousness and transform the world from within. Join the planet, the Lucid Planet. Visit thelucidplanet.com. Welcome home.
Tune in to the Psychic Professors Show, The Voices of Spirit Radio, with international medium and spirit artist Dr. Susan Barnes on Transformation Talk Radio, featuring a variety of spiritual topics such as psychic art, spiritualism, EVP, psychic development, and mediumship. This hit call-in show provides listeners with breakthrough wisdom to enliven and enlighten their lives. Visit spiritartgallery.net for show days and times.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I've been waiting to have this conversation today. David, before we jump in here and get at it again, because I know we're going to probably end up skipping a few breaks. First of all, tell folks how they can get a copy of the book right out of the gate. And and then also how they're going to be able to find out more about you.
Sure. Our website is really easy to remember, Dr. Pat. It's David, TALK, David.com, because like you, that's all I do is talk all day long. And we give, and because there are so many people, the book is the antithesis in many ways to The Secret and The Law of Attraction. And it's not that those books are bad. I find them to be extremely entertaining. They're very fun to read. But what we've done is we've taken such an exact opposite approach that we say to people, go to the website and read Chapter 1 for free. We actually give away Chapter 1 of the book, Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but this book will, so that people can get an idea. And then when they're on the site, they can click right to Amazon and buy it. But we, and the funny thing is that even the biggest skeptics, the radio shows we've been on where the host was very opposite of your approach and very skeptical, and how can you go against these great-selling books? Even at the end, when they have read the book and finished the interview, they've all become champions for the message. So if people go to talkdavid.com, they can find out more about me and get Chapter 1 for free at the same time.
Yeah. And what I want to say about this is right out of the gate, the tools that you and I are talking about, the tools, all the books that have come before, the big motivational speaking events, all of those things, I think worked for a time that they came forward in.
Yes.
We are not in that world today. That's not the world of today. Doesn't your book address that?
Oh, big time. Well, one of the key phrases that many of the Law of Attraction teachers taught that made sense at the time, 10, 15 years ago, was this whole thing about if the path you're on doesn't feel good, it's probably not the right path. Now, we expose that myth in our book. And just think about these words. If the path that you're on doesn't, quote, feel good, then it's probably a sign you're on the wrong path. And we say, how ludicrous. Now, 15 years ago, Pat, sure, we were at a certain stage of evolution, awakening, and that felt good, and it obviously resonated for people to still be buying millions of these books. But the reality is, in 27 years of interviewing Deepak and the late Wayne Dyer, Marianne Williamson, Meatloaf, Kenny Loggins, Jenna Elfman, the list goes on and on. Every one of them has stories about overcoming huge challenges that felt really crappy. Like when they were moving through their addictions or their financial challenges, or their publisher hadn't paid royalties in 3 years and they went bankrupt, which meant that they weren't getting a penny. They had to go through hard times. I say in the book, as a public speaker, if it was true, only do what you feel good, only do what felt good, there would be no public speakers in this world. Because there comes a time when you're on stage and you lose it, and it feels like crap, but you don't stop pursuing the dream.
No.
You get help.
No.
Or how about all the doctors that are in 12 years of med school? Well, that stuff doesn't feel good, and what about cleaning up your past to be ready for deep love? A lot of people just want to jump from one relationship to another. It may not feel go into your past, to forgive your past husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, father, grandmother, grandfather for doing something bad. But if you don't face that now, it's going to be an anchor for the rest of your life. So that's just an idea of, you perfectly put it, Pat. Back then, when the messages came out, they were relevant for the time. They do not work today.
Yeah. Now, listen, what I love about this is when I read this, and you're right about the first chapter, David, when I read this, I said, yeah, this is crust busting, which was the first show title that came out 14 years ago. That's what that message is all about. That's what we're about. And, I shared something with you during the break that we're getting ready to go out and with a crowdfunding campaign, not just to finish our technology for the network sooner, but because what we've discovered in 15 years, just like you, is it's not only about positive messaging, it's about positive doing. It's about who you're going to hang with and what you're going to make of it. And literally for me, I stuttered when I was a kid. We're now doing live integrated Facebook with our Facebook live shows are fully produced like television shows. And yesterday I did one, and I was so far out of my comfort zone with Chef Rossi talking about bullying. I think this is what you're talking about a little bit. I don't know. Tell me.
Oh, absolutely. It's, when we say to people, how do you want to get to the next level in life? We have them write down a list, and so we say, is it money? Is it your body? Is it your belief systems, which, of course, would encompass everything? Is it love? But we say, what's the biggest goal? What's the biggest challenge in your life?
Yeah.
And they pick just one area, because we always tell people only go after one major goal at a time. And then when they pick that area, we say, okay, what about money do you not want to do? I hate budgeting. Okay, guess what we're going to do? We're going to budget, because that is a key to breaking through. What's going on with your health that's challenging? I should probably cut back on drinking. Awesome. But I don't want to. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're right on both accounts. You don't want to, and it's going to be uncomfortable. But let me tell you a personal story, because our book really, Dr. Pat, is about hope. So for 25 years, I woke up every day, and I had an affirmation. And I said it with emotion, and I used the words I am, and I did everything the way the experts told us to do 35 years ago. For 25 years, I woke up every day, and I said this: I am a child of God, happy, healthy, and sober today.
Yeah.
And Pat, 25 years, I drank every night.
Yep.
And for 25 years, I woke up the next day saying that affirmation, because I had been drilled and schooled, and I was schooling my audiences all over the world, that whatever you believe, you can achieve. And it was a lie. And in 1996, in a 1-hour interview with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, the founder of Transcendental Meditation, he blew my cover in this most loving way after the interview and said to me, I have no joy. When you have someone presenting into your face, you don't have the joy that you're projecting to the world. One of two things happen. You either go deeper into your own denial, or you have an opportunity to true. And in that moment, when I was called out, it was actually exactly 3 weeks later from that moment, I woke up out of a binge at 2:30 in the afternoon. I looked in the mirror, and I said, my positive thoughts have done nothing to help me go to that next level of awakening. I have been an addict for over 25 years, an alcoholic for over 25 years, and my positive thinking actually was an illusion, making me think I was someone I was not. And that is the challenge. When someone has an affirmation, I am with the most loving man, and he's 6'2" and blonde hair and blah, blah, blah. Or someone has an affirmation, I am a millionaire. These things actually, Pat, hold us back in 2017 more than they propel us forward, because they keep us from dealing with the reality that the truth is I'm only making $50,000 a year. But when I say I am a millionaire, I feel great for those 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the reality.
Well, and then, the thing that I love about what you're writing in the book, and let's talk about that because I think you're tapping into it right now, is, the idea of a positive thinking versus quantum thinking. And I think that's something I want to talk about right here because there is a distinction. And, you've laid out a distinction, not just from, writing things in a book, but there's actually a little call to action here. Can you talk about that for a little bit? And I think I'm going to just skip this break if you don't mind.
Pat, this is so much fun being with you. It really is.
I love this.
Well, a funny thing about quantum thinking, in 1990, I interviewed Deepak Chopra when he came out with his first 8-hour cassette program on quantum thinking.
Oh.
And I had him for, it was the first time I interviewed him. Pat, at the end of the hour, I had no idea what a string theory was, what a quantum thing. He was so intelligent, and I couldn't follow a thing. Over the years, I've interviewed a lot of different people with quantum thinking, and I believe Dianne Collins. She wrote this amazing book called Do You Quantum Think?
Yeah.
And she's one of the New York Times bestselling authors that actually wrote a segment in our book about quantum thinking versus positive thinking.
Yeah.
So the difference in a nutshell is this. A positive thinker has a cascade of chemicals that goes through the brain every time they say, I am a millionaire. And they're not a millionaire. Every time they say, I am the best lover in the world, or I am sober, and they're not either of those, there still is a huge benefit physiologically to the body and mentally. Because we know through heartmath.org and other organizations that have studied this, that the minute you have an affirmation with enthusiasm, there's a release GABA, dopamine, serotonin, these powerful neurochemicals. But they don't stay. They just rush out while you do it. So when I look at the difference between positive thinking and quantum thinking, and Dianne Collins says this in our book, the quantum thinker has the same powerful thought, the same powerful release of chemicals in the brain. But the bigger difference is they don't stop there.
Yeah.
They walk into the world that at first is uncomfortable to create the reality they've imagined in their mind. So the quantum thinking scientists, they don't sit back and think about quantum theory and imagine they have the answer. They do that, but then they get out their computers or their blackboards or whatever, and they go through the formulas until they come up with their answer, which means they could work for years, Dr. Pat, before they're clear of what a string theory is. It's like, and that's the difference. The positive thinker thinks positive thoughts and stops. The quantum thinker, I helped this person, and he's doing great. One of the areas we work in is addiction recovery, and there was a heroin addict that I've worked with for 8 weeks now. We've got him clean. He's doing incredible. And he asked me to explain quantum thinking, and I said, let me tell you how Dianne Collins shares it. The quantum thinker has a limitless mindset regarding what they want. Now, that sounds
absolutely.
Like right?
Absolutely.
They have a limitless mindset in regards to what they want, and they add unlimited positive action daily to make it their reality.
Finally, thank you. Thank you for explaining to all my friends and family that are listening to the show. Now, David just gave you a reason for how I show up in the world. Thank you. But there's more to it, isn't it? Because the other thing that you say in the book, and again, I got to tell you, my mom, I got to go for my mom. She would say to me, David, honey, I'm going to tell you about belief. I'm going to tell you about belief. And, I'm telling you, it wasn't 2 years later I really understood this. She said, belief is either going to get you the grief or it's going to get you relief. Belief is going to get you more grief, girls, because there were 3 of us, or it's going to get you that relief. And she'd go on, the relief when you take a bite of that, sweet potato pie. Now, that's my mom. What do you make of what she would say to us girls?
Oh, my gosh. Well, did she ever write books and tour as a speaker? Because she should have.
I am her walking, talking, speaking book, if you want to know. I'm it. Sorry.
I bet, because, you were really grounded as a child. I mean, that's everything you're saying is incredibly grounding information that takes us out of illusion and fantasy and brings us into reality. And let me go back to something I said about the quantum researchers.
Yeah.
So, the way a lot of people view quantum thinking is that whatever you think about, you bring about. And so, if you think huge, beautiful mansion on the beach, it must come to you, But if you remember the story in The Secret, where the guy, John, he was in New Jersey and he took this picture of this $1 million home and he put it into storage, and 5 years later, he finds himself in Los Angeles and he opens his box out of storage, and oh my God, for some miraculous thing, of course, it was his vision board that did this, he's somehow in this $1 million home that he had cut the picture out of. Okay, so people think that's quantum thinking. Actually, it's nothing, because they didn't tell you what he did in those 5 years to earn the money to buy the home.
That's right. That's right.
And so they take this little snippet. It's like, how people will take a snippet out of the Bible and they'll get it all wrong? because the snippet isn't the truth. It's a portion of the truth. So, and that's why I'm saying with these books, we have to be so careful. What happened in our book, we described why The Secret and the Law of Attraction and all these well-meaning books became so popular. Pat, they tap into something that we defined in 1996, and it's called our human nature. Yes. And the definition of human nature is our desire to get the most out of life with minimal effort.
Well, they obviously didn't hear my mom's perspiration message.
No, exactly. But what those books do is they tap in. So it's a brilliant marketing move. It's what infomercials use. It's what the lottery people who are selling the lottery use. They're tapping into this extreme weakness of the human race. And that is our desire to get the most out of life with minimal effort. That's why they're so popular. But if you notice what I said about quantum thinking, they only used a portion of the true definition of quantum thinking. They didn't talk about unlimited positive action on a daily basis, which is the missing ingredient that we bring through our book. And that's why, Pat, we call our book the Book of Hope.
Yeah. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to dig deeper in this. We're going to talk about what this action, how this action is the pathway, and what do we do when we have our, do I dare even say it, when we have that subconscious continuum of, can't. Yeah, maybe I'll even share my pogo stick story. We'll be right back.
The legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Achilles and his gifts, Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fist. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list. But she said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk?
Tune in to the hit show Mouthing Off with Chef Rossi. Chef Rossi mouths off about different subjects in pursuit of breaking down walls and opening up your minds. She and Dr. Pat banter back and forth, taking from the headlines of the day on subjects that reach beyond what goes on in the world into your hearts. And go to theragingskillet.com to find out more and let Chef Rossi know what's on your mind.
Wow. Hey, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I'm telling you, I got to pinch myself some days, because when each of us gets called to do something that we so not thought was in our wheelhouse to do for a purpose that's so much greater than us, we get to show up and shine.
If you would like to show up and shine on the Dr. Pat Show as a co-host or sponsor, send us an email to inspire@thedrpatshow.com.
Brand consultant Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help you take control of your future and maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're an individual trying to reinvent yourself and launch a new venture, or you're an executive trying to reposition your company to modernize your sales and marketing programs, Jen Morgan and the RAD Method empower you to play to your strengths and show up in the world as your most powerful brand. To learn more, go to jenmorgan.com, that's Jen with 2 N's, Morgan.com, or call 206-972-5366.
The Earth is an ever-changing being. Goddess Light Shamanic Healer Bree Gibbs guides us through the ascending worlds, bringing forth knowledge and truth. As a light creator, she is here to provide new information needed at this time in our evolution. Join Bree as she shares messages from guides, spirits, ascended masters, goddesses, and others. Tune in the 2nd and 4th Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific, and Thursdays, 1 p.m. Pacific for Silver Gaia Radio.
Have you felt a lot of fear and self-doubt in your life where you feel like you never know what's right for you? As a result, maybe you've made yourself invisible or haven't fully put yourself out there. Hi, my name is Deb Acker. In addition to being the host of Truth Talk Radio, I'm an intuitive life coach and energy healer. I clear energy blocks to all areas of life, including stepping into your power to be confident and visible in your relationships and the world. Did you know fear, self-doubt, feeling invisible, and not feeling comfortable to put yourself out there are all linked to not being in your power? What if you could always feel powerful and on purpose at all times? I used to spend a lot of time hiding in fear and self-doubt. Now I'm not afraid to put myself out there on a bigger scale, and most importantly, I know what's right for me in every moment, and I take action accordingly. On the other side, I now help others with this, and if you're ready to be powerful and confident and let go of the fear that holds you back from a bigger life, I'd love to gift you with my pattern identification session. Simply contact me on the contact page of my website, DeborahAcker.com. That's DeborahAcker.com. And let me know you heard about this gift through Transformation Talk Radio. I look forward to connecting soon.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. David Essel joining me here today. It's kind of like we don't talk every 5 minutes, but when we get back together, it's like we've known each other for years, if not lifetimes. The book is Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but this book will. Because what, David, you're disclosing for people is what they intuitively know. And literally, this is a witnessing to bring things to the forefront that can change. Things to the forefront that can change. First of all, again, please let folks know how they can get a copy of the book, but also I have that we're going to give away to 5 of our listeners that'll call in during the show. We're going to give them a free yearly subscription to David's Daily Video Boost. Tell us about that.
Oh, my gosh, that is so great, Dr. Pat. We started this Daily Video Boost, and every day the winners, and for people that want to join, if they don't win, they can go to talkdavid.com. It's called David Essel's Daily Video Boost. 5 days a week, early in the morning, you're going to get your video of the day, which is a thought of the day, an action step of the day, an understanding and explanation of our human nature so that individuals, once again, I'm going to go back to the word hope. Everything that we do, Pat, is about giving people more hope that they can create the life they want. So when several of my clients over the years, 27 years now, as a counselor and a coach, were saying, I need you 5 days a week, David. I need to be in front of your energy. I need you on the phone. Well, of course, that's not possible. So we said, well, let's create this incredible program. It is David Essel's Daily Video Boost. 5 of your listeners will get a subscription for free, and the rest can go. It's extremely inexpensive, but the rest can go and join so that there is no more excuses, only results, which is the purpose of the program.
Well, all right. And let's make sure everybody does that. But first, I'm opening up the phone lines now. And what I need from you is I need your phone number, I need your email, and I need a name so that we can give this and pass it on. 1-800-930-2819. And you're going to hear why in a minute. This is so important. 1-800-930-2819. You know, here's why receiving these videos is important, because if you're like me, you know, I need to get a daily dose of things. And it relates directly to what I was reading that Joe Cerulli said about optimism in your book, because I get dinged for being so optimistic. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're like, dude, don't you even have a bad day? And I got to tell you, I don't know if I have a bad day, but I do have moments where I'm not like the happiest person on the planet. But there's a difference between optimism, I think, and what I think people are expecting from us, or what I even expect from myself. Can you talk about this for a minute, optimism? Because I love optimism.
Oh, Pat, I do too. Well, first of all, going back to what you said a second ago, being optimistic doesn't mean it's a 24/7 job. I mean, that's one of the craziest things in the world. Being an optimist says that there is an answer, period. That's what an optimist says. There is an answer. So you're faced in your relationship, you're faced with your addiction, you're faced with money challenges, you're faced with your career challenges. The optimist says there's an answer. The pessimist says, God, I'm screwed. My genetics with my weight, my genetics with my alcoholism, the relationship I'm in could never change. I'll never find a great guy or a girl. There's the pessimist. The optimist says, you know, this may not be my best day, month, year, or decade, but I know there's an answer. And that's what, again, going back, your show is the same. That's what all of our work is about. It's about making sure people know there is an answer. It may take another week, month, year in order for you to get it, but it's out there. Let's work together.
Well, this is what I love about it. You know, I was told early on that pretty much a show that talks about positive thinking, positive knowing, and positive action, because that's what crust busting originally was, and that's what the Dr. Pat Show is. I mean, you know, they said, you know, honey, you're not going to last 15 minutes, let alone 15 years, which we're moving into. But there's something about people instilling doubt in us that I believe, David, is pretty much more toxic than most other things out there. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. And the type of people that fill our minds with doubt, those individuals have very low self-confidence and self-esteem. Let me make that point. If you're with someone that every time you say, oh, my gosh, I'm going to try this, they go, oh, that'll never work. Or you're, you know, at your job, in your relationship, your friend, those people that have that mindset, they're struggling because they don't have personal power. And the only way they feel powerful is by putting other people down. You know, in the book, we talk about moving away from toxic relationships. And when people do, which is really hard, because a toxic relationship, if it's been with you for 6 months or more, there's already an unseen, invisible tie between these two people. So breaking it is really like breaking an addiction. And you have to put up with the withdrawal, not being around that person as much, or never talking to them again, in order to set yourself free.
Yeah. You know, when we are stepping into this idea, and it is an idea we have to step into, let's wrap our minds around, I can't believe the hour has gone so fast. I want to wrap our minds around action. In the book, you call it Action is the Pathway to Success. I'm telling you, if you were around my mom for any, like 1 minute or 1 year, you pretty much were not going to do it. I remember just kicking and screaming because I told her I could not jump on this pogo stick once when I was a kid and out in the streets in the Bronx. And I just refused. I said, I can't. She said, you are not coming in the house until I see you jump on that thing for at least a minute. And I got to tell you, I kicked and screamed. I threw it down the street, all of the above. And I sat on the curb, contemplated that next thing that would change my life. It was called action.
Yeah.
Now tell me about the importance of this and why this has become the key for what you're saying today.
When we know the formula for success that has been proven from the beginning of time is that 20% of our success will come from our thoughts and 80% will come from action, that's what all of our listeners, I'd love for them to write down. My big success will be 20% related to how I think, 80% related to what I do. And the formula we share in the book with hundreds of stories of people that have followed this identical formula is that we say, for the next 365 days, commit 5 to 6 days a week, 1 hour per day, Pat, to accomplish that massive goal of money, weight loss, recovery, love, forgiveness, whatever it is. Like we have seen in 27 years of the work that we do as a counselor and a coach, we've seen that major changes on average take about 1 year going through the seasons, committing 5 to 6 days a week when you'd rather not, to lose that 100 pounds, to get clean and sober, to make the money that you want to make. You know, we have a financial freedom course. We took a couple through it about 9 months ago. They're in their 40s. They didn't want to set up a budget. That was the first thing they said, is that we want to take this course, but we don't want to set up a budget. Within 7 days, we had them on a budget. And within 9 months, for the first time in their life, through the course, they had done the action steps that we talk about in the book. They had saved $30,000 in 9 months, Dr. Pat. They bought their first home in their mid-40s. They are ecstatic. As a matter of fact, Candace, who was the wife of the wife and husband that went through the course, she has a quote, an endorsement on our homepage at talkdavid.com. But if they didn't do the action steps that they would rather not do, there's no way they'd be in their first home.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really everything my mother said. You know, who knew that, you know, having somebody that literally would not let you come in the house until you got on that pogo stick would be the tipping point of my life. You know, this idea of action, I believe it has to be fueled by perseverance. And I'd love to hear you talk about that because, you know, her go-to was, yeah, honey, yeah, I'm not expecting you to just pick it up and jump on it, get off and throw it down the street, which I did. I really want to see you do it. That lesson for me became invaluable. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I don't think you're talking about, oh, yeah, one thing. You're really talking about what I call quantum action.
It is quantum action, and perseverance is a part of it. And here's another part that is crucial that we talk about in the book, Pat, that people forget about. If you could have, for all of our audience, if you could have accomplished the goal on your own of the weight you need to lose, the money you need to make, the addiction you need to let go of, the relationship you want to have, if you could have done it on your own, you would already have it.
Oh, yeah.
So the quantum thinker says, I have tried for 10, 15, 20, 30 years to lose the weight, make the money, let go of the addiction, find deep love. I've never been able to do it. I need an accountability partner. That's quantum thinking. The quantum thinker says, shoot, I'm smart, I'm intelligent, I'm experienced, but I still haven't mastered X. Well, if you keep trying to master it on your own when you haven't been able to do it, that'll never work.
Yeah.
So we get really big and broad. We get very vulnerable because quantum thinking is all about vulnerability, even though people don't associate it with it. When you're a quantum thinker, you drop your guard, you drop your insecurities, you ask for help.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I got somebody that wants help now that is called into the show. Don't you love that?
I love it.
Let's do it. Shall we do it? Mr. Benny, who do we have?
Victor from Seattle. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Victor.
Hey, good morning, Pat. Dr.
Good
Pat.
morning.
Hello, Victor.
Yeah. Hi, David. I had a question. When you're talking about when you find an answer, what if I push the answer away too much, for maybe self-sabotaging a little too much, or if it's obvious to me and I still don't, I don't.
So are you saying that you find an answer, but then you push it away and don't follow through with it? Is that what you're saying, Victor?
Or maybe I'll keep thinking about it even, but that's not good enough.
I love it. Okay, so listen, the number one tool of all of our self-saboteurs in this world, Victor, you, me, Pat, everyone, is called procrastination. The number one tool of self-saboteurs is, well, I need one more course before I do this. I need to read one more book. Or, you know what, that worked for them, but I'm not a morning person. Maybe I should, you know? So it's like when we're going to sabotage ourselves, we look at those people that are procrastinating. You know you need to make a move. You know you need to make a change, but you're not doing it. So there you go. There's self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. So the question is really, we only have a couple of minutes left, but the question is really this, what are you going to do today to really create a change, to change in a different direction? I mean, isn't that what we're talking about? David,
Yeah.
We're not saying, oh, wait a minute, I don't know how to skydive, but I'm going to skydive.
Yeah, no, we're saying, okay, so if you're talking about I'm procrastinating on skydiving, it's let me make the call and find out the price. Let me book, even if it's 30 days from now, let me book. Let me make the call and book the event. Let me make a call to a friend and have someone come with me. Like every small action step on a daily basis is going to lead us to the success that we desire. And every step we don't take on a daily basis is sabotaging our goals, which is one reason why, and Victor, you're going to get this for free, one reason why we created David Essel's Daily Video Boost is so people would get away from procrastination and self-sabotage and success and walk the life they desire.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Victor, make sure you give Benny all of your information, okay? And thank you for calling in. And, for those of you out there that haven't had a chance to call in, what we're going to do is make sure that we invite you to our live Facebook show that we do. David, the time has just zipped by.
I know.
And the book, for me is fabulous. I mean, in a lot of ways, sometimes you just have to do it. And it doesn't matter what it is. There is an action that we can take. And small steps do count, don't they?
If it's a small step towards a large goal, yes.
Yep.
And if it's 5 to 6 days a week, heck yes, Pat.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when you are out talking about this, and here's my kind of last question, what do you leave people with? What's the personal message you want all of us to have as this show comes to a close? And thank you for all that you do.
You're very welcome, Pat. It's a really simple message. Never lose hope. Ask for help. Do you'd rather not do. And all those things you were hoping to come into your life still can. Never lose hope. Never give up. Ask for help. And those things that you so desire can still be a part of your life. It's all about hope, Pat.
Yeah, it is. I love it. David, one more time, how can people find out more about you and how can they get a copy of your book?
Awesome. They just go to talkdavid.com, Talk David.com, and they can grab Chapter 1 for free before they buy the book. They're going to love Chapter 1. The stories are awesome. And then join our exclusive video community, David Essel's Daily Video Boost at talkdavid.com.
Awesome. Thank you, David. And for those of you out there, I'm Dr. Pat. And remember that I've said this more times than not. My mom always used to say to me, honey, the ball's in your court. Well, I never knew what that meant until later in life. And I remember every word she's ever said to me. I hope you've heard something today that will instill hope. We'll see you next time.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.